Hello and welcome back to another episode of Ruining Your Childhood.
Welcome back to another episode of Ruining Your Childhood, one sculpt at a time. Today, once again, we're going to be taking a trip down to the radioactive town of Springfield to create one of the Simpsons' most greedy, power-hungry, and disturbingly ancient characters of the whole show. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. Burns. Now, if you grew up watching The Simpsons, you already know that Mr. Burns looks like a dried-up praying mantis wearing a business suit, so that begs the question, how am I supposed to make this guy look any worse than he already does? And honestly, I have no clue, but I'm sure we'll figure it out by the end of the video. Anyway, so to kick things off, I went ahead and started off with a sad little ball of clay that we slowly stretched, tugged, and pulled around until I got this weird oblong shape. This is going to be his head and neck. From there, I could go ahead and push in his eye sockets using a ball stylus, and once I got those pressed in, we could go ahead and fill the eye sockets using some pre-baked eyes that I made off camera by taking a ball of clay, pre-baking it, then slicing it in half. Now, every set of face balls needs a good set of eyelids to cover those, so we're going to be taking a flap of clay, laying that underneath the eye. I then go in with a silicone sculpting tool to blend everything in until it looks all nice and smooth. I am going to be taking a little bit of time to build up his lower bags. We're going for that I haven't slept since the Great Depression look, and then we can move on to his upper lids. Pretty much going to be repeating the same exact process as I did for the lower lids, except this time instead of using flattened out pieces of clay, I rolled out a few worms of clay that we're going to lay over top of the eyes. I then use my X-Acto knife to snip those to the right size, and then go in with that silicone sculpting tool once again to blend everything all out. And after a little bit of upper eye refinement, I could then go ahead and start building up that massive 5 head of his. Start things off by taking a chunk of clay that kind of looks like a slug and slapping that above his eyeballs. After a little bit of refinement, I go in with my fingers and a silicone sculpting tool to start blending everything out into that classic droopy brow that Mr. Burns has. Now that we have completed the upper section of his head, we could go ahead and move down and start working on that sexy overbite of his. For this, I started off with a thick wedge of clay that I sliced out this little pyramid shape. I went ahead and did a little bit of refining and shaping, and then I also sliced out that little section on the back there so it fits a little bit more flush to the face. But with that, we could go ahead and apply that to the face, leaving a little bit of room for the nose. I go ahead and go in with that silicone sculpting tool to start blending that into the face. And with that, Mr. Burns is starting to look a little bit like a chicken, so it's time to change that by adding his nose. Mr. Burns has got one of those noses where it looks like he could sniff out buried treasure from 3 miles away, so we are going to be starting off with a long piece of clay, then slicing that to the proper length. After a little bit of refinement, we have that nice needle nose shape that we could go ahead and stick onto the front of the face. After blending the nose into the rest of the head, we could go in with a small ball stylus to start shaping out his nostrils. But with that, his nose is looking pretty nose-like, so we could go ahead and pause there, move down to the inner side of the mouth to start adding his teeth. Now, I don't know what it is, but there's something about a mouthful of tiny teeth that absolutely creeps me out, and unfortunately for me, Mr. Burns has exactly that. So using some translucent clay, I made these little pre-baked teeth that I filled out his overbite with, and from there, we could go ahead and start adding his lower lip to finish off the mouth. Much like the upper lip, I just took a wedge of clay, applying that underneath the teeth. I then grabbed my trusty dusty silicone sculpting tool to smooth that all out. Then I could follow that up by adding some wrinkles and folds around the mouth, eyes, and forehead. Really trying to make this guy look as weathered as possible. I was pretty happy with the crustification of this guy's face, so we can move down and start adding some wrinkles and folds to his neck to give him that classic geezer neck that he has. And to finish off the detailing in the face, I am going to be just using this natural sponge to dab along the surface. This helps to kind of sell the illusion of skin pores. And with that, his face is pretty much complete. All we need to do next is add his ears. So for this, I start off with a ball of clay that I smash flat, slicing it in half. I then take 1/2 of that sliced out circle and then start to give it a little bit more of an ear shape before sticking that onto the side of the head. And then follow that up with using a ball stylus and that silicone sculpting tool to smooth it out, before going in with an even smaller ball stylus to give it that inner ear detail. Went ahead and did the other ear off camera to save a little bit of time, but with that, his head's looking pretty good, so it's off to the oven for its first bake. And with the head back and fully baked, we can go ahead and give it that flick test before flipping it over and finding a hole. This mystery hole that I pre-drilled is actually for this little piece of armature wire that's going to make up the main spine of the sculpture. And with that spine in place, we can then start to build up the body using some Super Sculpey Ultralight. This is my preferred method instead of using tinfoil. It's a little bit lighter than the clay that I'm using before, and it's a lot more malleable, as you can see here. But once I had that juicy nug of clay slapped onto the bottom of his neck, I just go around pinching and pulling at the body to give it a little bit more of that hunchback look that we're going for. Then it's on to adding his arms and legs. I went ahead and pre-cut these armature wires to my desired length of how long I wanted his arms and legs to be, and then after inserting all 4 of his limbs into place, we could go ahead and pop it in the oven real quick just to save our spot. But now that he's back from the oven, I don't have to worry about accidentally crushing him, so I am going to go ahead and pop his arms out really fast just so we can have an easier access to his torso. But first we're going to go ahead and start working on his legs. So after coating that piece of armature wire with some liquid Sculpey, I am going to be taking this rolled out bit of clay and slide that up that pole. After a little bit of refinement, I could go ahead and blend that into the rest of the torso. Once I was happy with the shape and size of that first leg, we could go ahead and go to the other side doing the exact same thing. And with that, both legs are looking pretty good, so now we just need to start adding some details to his pants. I started by pinching the front of his leg, working my way down to kind of give his pants that pleated khaki look. But once I had those front folds in place, I could then go in with my silicone sculpting tool, drawing some wrinkles extending from his crotchal region and behind his knees. I also add a few wrinkles on the side of his leg just to give a little bit more visual interest. Then we could pause there and move on to his shirt. First things first, we're going to be adding his collar, and for this I just took a flattened out piece of clay that I'm going to wrap around his neck, smoothing in just the bottom section of that. Once I had that smoothed in all the way around the head, we could go ahead and start taking that upper section and folding it over top of itself, making a little collar. After a little bit of shaping and detailing with my silicone sculpting tool, we can then move on to making his tie. To start things off, I went ahead and took this little chunk of clay that I stuck between the collars. After a little bit of refining, I could then take the longer bit of the tie, sticking that underneath. After I got that blended in, I am going to be adding that little crease that goes on the top. Then it's on to his jacket portion. I flattened out a large piece of clay that I'm going to be wrapping around his body, bringing it around the front. Once I had both of those ends meeting, I went ahead and folded those top sections. This is going to be making the lapels on his jacket. And after folding that first side, went ahead and did the exact same thing for the other side, pinching it off in the back, and then go ahead and slice that little excess bit off, blending it in together. And to finish off those lapels, I am going to be cutting out those little triangle bits that are on both sides. Then his jacket was looking a little too long, so I am going to be squaring off the bottom here. Look at this, didn't even slice that side. I'm just going to be ripping it off like a savage. Terrible. But after fixing that line, I went ahead and made these little buttons off camera by taking some balls of clay and just smashing them flat. Once I had those in position, I could use a small ball stylus to add those little button details. And then we're on to his arms. I am going to put Mr. Burns aside while we grab his arms and hit you with that helicopter before sleeving these bad boys up. Much like his legs, I am going to be coating them with some liquid Sculpey before taking a flattened out piece of clay, wrapping it around that piece of armature wire, pinching off the seams and slicing off the excess bit. I then hit it with that little pinch and twist motion, just a little pinch and twist just to get rid of all those bumps and ridges. And after doing the exact same thing for the other arm, we have Mr. Burns' arms done. Now we could go ahead and insert those into the body. Now to make his arms a little bit more natural, instead of just sticking out of the side of his body, we are going to be bulking up his shoulders, and so for this I just took some chunks of clay, slapping those onto the top of the arms. Once I was happy with the size of those, I could then use my dirty phalanges to help blend that clay in. And with that, his arms are looking pretty good, so we are going to go in with that silicone sculpting tool to start adding some wrinkles. And with that, pretty much everything's done on the suit, so all we need to do is start adding some texture. Now my favorite method to making clay look like fabric is using a piece of fabric to just rub over top of the surface. So once I wrapped him up like a little pigs in the blanket, I could then go around giving him a vigorous rub down. All this really does is just transfer the pattern of the cloth onto the clay. And with that, his suit's looking like a suit and his body's looking fresh, so we could go ahead and pop him in the oven for another bake. And with Mr. Burns back from the oven and his suit looking crispy, we could go ahead and start on his hands and feet. For his hands, I went ahead and started off with a small ball of clay that I'm going to just be mashing onto that little piece of armature wire that is sticking out from his wrist. And once I had that ball into place, I can then just go around blending that clay into the rest of the arm. Once I had the first hand done, I went ahead and did the exact same thing for the other side. And with that, we have a couple of hand nubs. From there, I could go ahead and start pinching out those little balls to make them the little mitten shapes. And once I was happy with the length of those mittens, I could go in with my X-Acto knife to start slicing in some fingers. Once I got those fingers cut out, I can then go in with my phalanges to start pinching his phalanges to make them look like phalanges. With one hand done and the other done off camera, we can go ahead and start forming those into this classic, excellent power finger pose. And once we had the tips of his phalanges touching, we could go ahead and start adding his thumbs, and for this I just took a little piece of the clay roughly around the same thickness of his fingers, and then just apply that to the back of the hand, and I start to blend that in, following that up with my trusty dusty silicone sculpting tool. Once we had that all blended nice and smooth like, we could go ahead and start adding his actual sleeve to the jacket. Much like his collar, I'm just going to be taking a flattened out piece of clay, wrapping that around his wrist, slicing off the little excess bit. I then kind of taper it down so it has a little bit more of a flared look at the end. And once we had that all blended in and the other side completed as well, his arms are looking pretty menacing, so we could stop there and move down to his feet. Much like his hands, we're going to start off with a ball of clay, except I'm just going to be shaping it out into almost a bean shape, or a sunflower seed to be more exact. But once I was happy with that shape, I am going to be cutting a little groove out of the back. This makes it a little bit easier for me to form fit it to the front of the leg. Once I had that applied to the front of the leg, I do a little bit of shaping and forming. I then follow it up by blending that into the rest of the leg. I then finish everything off by taking a wedge-shaped sculpting tool to draw that pant line back in. And with that, his feet are done, and that completes the sculpting process, so we could go ahead and pop it in the oven for its final bake. And with Mr. Burns back from the oven and looking more firm than he ever has, we could go ahead and start the painting process. And for this, we are going to be starting off like I always do by painting the entire sculpture with an initial base coat of its initial base coat colors, starting with his shoes, which get a black. Once I got that thoroughly coated, we go ahead and let those fully dry and go ahead and move on to his suit. Now most of the time Mr. Burns is rocking a teal suit, so for this I went ahead and mixed up some medium blue and some intermediate green. Then to lighten it up a bit, I added some bone white. And once I was finished with the pants, we're going to be carrying that same exact color onto the suit jacket. While I'm painting this on, I just want to take a quick second to say thank you guys so much for checking out the video so far. I really hope you're enjoying it. And if you are, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button, and if you're new here, maybe consider subscribing. But now that we have the suit done and fully dried, we could go ahead and move on to painting his tie. Now this was the one part of the build that I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to do, because I've seen two different references, one where he has a black tie and one where he has an orange tie. And obviously, as you can see, I went with the black tie. I just felt like it maybe matched the suit a little bit better and also wouldn't clash with his skin tone as much. But with his tie complete, I can move down and start painting his buttons black. Now I end up making them just a darker teal later on, but for now they're going to be black, so there you go. But with that, his suit is now complete and we can move on to his shirt. As for the shirt, we are going to be keeping it pretty basic just for the base coat, and we're going to be using a color called Death White. And for those of you that are curious on what types of paint I use, the brand is called Vallejo. Well, actually, somebody corrected me the other day, and they said it was... Well, I forgot what they said. I can't remember how they said it was pronounced, but I'm just gonna go with Vallejo. Everyone else calls it that, so blame them, not me. Anyway, now that we have his shirt complete, we could go ahead and start slapping on his yellow skin. For this, I am going to be mixing up two different colors. The first color is called Dark Flesh, and the second one is Sun Yellow. Now, a lot of you probably know that painting with yellow could be a nightmare considering it's very translucent, especially if you have a darker background, but there's something about the combination of those two paints. It actually makes it pretty easy. I only had to do like 2 coats and it covered the entire thing, so I was pleasantly surprised. But with that, his skin is complete, and all we have to do is finish it off by painting his eyes, and for this I am going to be using that bone white, and with that the base coats are officially complete. Now, despite the fact he is just yellow, there are multiple ways to make him actually look more quote-unquote realistic. And that is obviously using a variety of different washes. For this, I'm going to be starting off using a red wash. The red that I'm using first is called Blood Red, and I'm pretty much going to be painting this over the entire face, making sure it really sinks down to all those cracks and recesses, really making those pores pop. And once I have the entire head coated, we can then slide down doing the same thing to his hands, making sure to really focus on his knuckles and the palms of his hands. By now his head should be completely dry, so we could go in with this grayish blue wash that we're pretty much just going to be focusing on the lower section of his face with. This is going to help kind of sell that illusion of like a 5 o'clock shadow, like a little bit of stubble going on. But once we have that lower section coated, we could use that same blue for the under eye to make those bags pop a little bit more. And just to really seal the deal on the NAS factor of this character, we are going to be adding some veins on his temples. And with that, the undercoats are complete, and so now we could blend everything together by doing a dry brushing of that dark flesh color By doing this is really just pushing back all those colors, blending them all together, making them feel like they all belong. And with the dry brushing complete, I was pretty happy with how the face was looking so far, so we could go ahead and start adding those little moles that are on the top of his head. For this, I'm using a color called bronze brown. It's a kind of a darker yellow color, and I really just watered it down and put those little spots on top of the head and just let them dry, and I feel like it gave a pretty authentic looking mole texture. But with that, the skin is complete, and now we can move on to his suit. I'm going to be keeping things pretty basic when it comes to the clothing, and I'm just going to be going over top of it first with a dry brushing of that initial color, just a little bit lighter. Once I highlight all of those wrinkles and folds and go over top of the pants and get that seam real nice, we can go in with a darker version of that initial color. I just mixed that same color with a little bit of black and dark green, and we're just going to be going under the arms and jacket, pretty much anywhere where a shadow would be. And after blending that in, his suit's looking pretty good, so we can move on to his shirt, which we are also going to be keeping kind of basic, and I'm just going to be going over top of it with that bone white. This is just going to give a little bit more variation to the whites on his shirt. As for Mr. Burns' eyes, I am going to be adding a little bit of color, despite the fact in the cartoon he just had a couple of black dots. So for this, I am going to be giving him an icy blue eye look. So we're starting off with a light blue, then I'm going to be going around that with a little bit of a darker blue just on the rim. And then of course we're going to finish it off with a black pupil in the center. And that pretty much completes the painting process, so all we need to do is add his hair. For the hair, I'm going to be doing the exact same technique that I used for my Krusty the Clown sculpture, so if you haven't seen that video yet, you should definitely go check it out for a little bit more insight on how I'm doing this. But basically, I take some yarn, comb it out into these long strands, then I'm using this stuff called fabric fusion to glue it onto the back of the head. To get that nice puffy look, I did fold it over top of itself, letting the glue seep through and stick it all together. Then as for the sideburns, I just cut these little strips out, sticking it onto the side of the face and then combing it back behind the ear. I then go ahead and take some scissors to trim it up a bit. And with that and a little bit of off-camera detailing, we're onto those JCPenney glamour shots. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and also leave a comment down below of who you would like to see me sculpt next. I'll see you next time.